please. See her lying there with the yellow circle, doctor?
Yes,
And movement?
yes.
Okay. Thank you. It's enough.
And Court TV will not air graphic autopsy photos, but we are going to continue to highlight the victims that were lost in all of this. That's why we were putting up those pictures during live of Autumn there. Kirk, Nurmi, you're still with me. Our prosecutor's doing a good job of keeping this victim focused and remembering the victims and what they went through, because this is really for their families, is it not?
Yeah, I think so, and it's also obviously the quest of the community, the state, the desire to execute Mr. Cruz, right? So that's ultimately the goal. We have to keep that in mind. So in terms of doing a good job, yes, they are laying out their case. They are hitting the aggravating factors. They are giving the victims a chance, the opportunity, as we said earlier, that probably an opportunity they chose to have their voice heard, to have their deaths vindicated, if you will, in the courtroom, and they're bringing these things out, even as methodically, and it might take a while, but that's ultimately what they're doing. And they are doing a good job laying out the case, both in terms of the act itself, but also tying it to the aggravating factors, which is really aggravation versus mitigation, is why these whole proceedings are taking place.
Kirk, you've been around a convicted killer or two in your day. What's your thoughts on him not even paying attention? It looks like he's just holding his head, looking down the whole time.
Well, you know, it's really hard to say without knowing his mental diagnosis, Matt. We talked earlier about those medications that he's on, what have you, right? What is his diagnosis? What do those medications, how do they affect him, what have you? I suspect his disconnect from this process is part of the reason why that the defense wants to put that in front of the jury, so they understand that he's just not acting in defiance, but really is a product of his medications. You know, we can see him here holding his ears, like maybe he just doesn't want to hear all these things. So yeah, I mean, that can play a part in it, and the jury is always going to keep their eye on the defendant, because, you know, Matt, it's different. We could talk about the death penalty over coffee, but one thing that always changes, my experience as a death penalty attorney, is when you go into a courtroom, you're looking at a defendant and you're be asking, can I execute this person? It's
well,
different.
We'll talk about it more coming up. Still ahead, more on the Parkland School Massacre trial. We'll continue with our live coverage straight ahead, and a little bit later, a live report from the courthouse. Stay tuned.
Pet endlessly better.